If you drive along any highway in Texas, you're going to see them, those guardrail systems that are supposed to help protect motorists.
But tonight, our investigative reporter Becky Oliver says questions are mounting about why these safety devices are ripping through cars and tearing Texas families apart. She's in studio tonight. Becky.
Well, these are federally approved safety devices, but they are coming under fire. First in a whistleblower case we told you about last February, and now families who are suing, saying the guardrails are defective and dangerous. A warning, some of the photos are very graphic.
My face went numb. I started sweating.
Lisa Antonicelli remembers driving down Highway 80 in Mesquite when she felt a diabetic seizure coming on.
The next thing I knew, I hit the guardrail.
The guardrail head broke off and the steel rail ripped through Antonicelli's engine like a spear.
I saw the metal come up.
The guardrail struck Antonicelli.
I didn't want to believe what I was seeing.
Paramedics rushed her to Baylor Hospital. She spent months in a coma, endured 28 operations, and ran up a bill of more than $1 million.
I need to test my blood real quick.
Antonicelli is now a paraplegic. Her x-rays show how surgeons put her back together with chains and screws.
I have a wound vac.
It's been 14 months, and the skin grafts are beginning to heal, but emotionally, she's struggling.
I have days when I say, why did I live through this? Because I have never been out of pain yet. It went through me.
A lawsuit claims the guardrail system that tore through Antonicelli's car was manufactured by Trinity Industries of Dallas. It's a federally approved safety device that's used all over the world. This crash test video shows exactly how the Trinity head is designed to work. During a head-on collision, the guardrail flattens and ribbons out and away from the vehicle, at the same time bringing the vehicle to a safe stop.
It's a safety device designed to protect people, and it failed.
In a lawsuit, Derek Boyd claims the Trinity head was defective and unreasonably dangerous. Trinity denies every allegation.
This should never happen. When you see the guardrail come through the vehicle, like it did after Lisa hit the end cap, and it strikes the driver in the vehicle, this should not happen. Not only did it happen to Lisa, but it's happening to other people, and it's got to stop.
Enter Josh Harmon, a Virginia guardrail maker. He's filed a federal whistleblower case against Trinity in East Texas. The suit alleges the company modified the end treatment back in 2005 to save money. Harmon claims Trinity changed the internal dimensions on the system, and now it doesn't flatten and feed through the end terminal. It locks up. Trinity denies the allegation, claiming Harmon is an opportunistic litigant, hoping for a windfall, and his claims are false and misleading. Trinity says design changes can be made and are commonly made to a product after testing. Trinity is asking the court to dismiss the case.
Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania.
Harmon spends his day zigzagging across the country and photographing accidents he posts on his website.
They run about 14 feet.
He took us to guardrail accidents all over the Metroplex.
To see the head work flawless, with straight up, still facing traffic.
You can see the guardrail flattened and curled up after it was hit. Harmon says this is Trinity's older version that's still out on the highway, and he claims it worked well.
This doesn't pose any threat to your car.
None whatsoever. See, it's just floppy.
But near Waxahachie, Harmon says this Trinity newer modified version did not work.
And it just wadded it up.
You can see the guardrail head is on its side, and the rail folded and created what could be a spear.
When this thing locked up, it just folded.
Trinity declined our request for an on-camera interview, but in a statement, the company says it has a high degree of confidence in the performance of the guardrail system. Harmon's allegations were reviewed by the Federal Highway Administration. The FHWA reaffirmed its acceptance of the system in October 2012 and its eligibility for use on the National Highway System.
Trinity company says the U.S. government reviewed Harmon's whistleblower allegations and declined to participate in the lawsuit. Trinity is defending itself in court to fully protect Texas A&M and the outstanding reputation of Trinity.
Because I don't think it was a freak accident, especially since I've seen the pictures.
Lena Tucker's husband hit a guardrail on his way to work. The rail tore through the car, killing him instantly.
He hit the head. He hit the part that was supposed to curl the guardrail away. And that just broke off and flew away from the scene.
Tucker has filed a complaint with the Texas Attorney General's office. The AG will neither confirm or deny it's received any Trinity complaints or that the office is investigating. She questions why this safety device isn't protecting the driving public.
I miss him very much.
And Leslie Escobedo is still traumatized by her mother's accident in Wichita Falls.
She had no legs. I recognized her most by her fingernails.
Connie Spink was driving along Highway 287 when she hit the guardrail. The photos look strikingly similar to the Tucker and Antonicelli accidents. The terminal head was torn off and landed across the field, and the rail pierced the interior of the car, slicing off Spink's legs.
We questioned it from the beginning. You would think, aren't guardrails meant to save? Not do the opposite. They're supposed to save your life.
The Escobedo's 2-year-old daughter, Lily, was in the back seat. A witness thought the toddler may have climbed out of her car seat and distracted Spink. Lily was thrown from the car. She spent months in a medically induced coma. The medical bills are almost $2 million. The Escobedos don't know if the guardrail's performance contributed to their daughter's injuries. Like Tucker, they filed a complaint with the Attorney General asking for an investigation into the guardrail's safety.
It's just not the same anymore, and it never will be.
These families question why the government isn't doing more to protect drivers.
Something wasn't right, you know, because he hit it head on.
I think a freak accident is one thing, but for it to continue to happen, shouldn't that be an alarm for someone to change something?
I never want another human being to go through this because it is wrong. It is so wrong.
Now, another lawsuit was filed in East Texas just last month. It involves a 21-year-old man who died after he struck a guardrail. Trinity denies the allegations. The company says the man was intoxicated and adds that there is no evidence it even was a Trinity product.
Still so sad to hear all those people's individual stories. So what's the government doing?
Well, the Federal Highway Administration, as we said in our story, has said this product is eligible to be out on a roadway. It is an approved product. Now, there is a Transportation Association that has committed to do a study on all terminal heads, not just Trinity's. That's supposed to start next summer and should take about 3 years to complete.
A whistleblower lawsuit now raising some serious questions about a highway safety device, a device that's actually supposed to help protect motorists.
The recently unsealed suit claims that device is defective, with the maker fighting back, saying the allegations are pure fiction and junk science. Becky Oliver in studio tonight with more on this legal battle. Becky.
Trinity Industries is a Dallas-based company that manufactures guardrail systems. Is this a case of a greedy gold digger trying to harm a reputable business, or a man on a crusade to save lives? And is the federal government doing enough to protect the driving public?
When she hit it, there was like dust of debris everywhere.
Connie Spink of Wichita Falls never had a chance. The grandmother was driving along Highway 281 when
she kind of like veered off and just hit it.
Sheena Coffer and her father were behind Spink and stopped to help.
By the time the car stopped, she was in the back seat on the driver's side, curled up.
The guardrail went through Spink's door and into the passenger compartment. She died.
When it came in, cut off both her legs, and it was just so bad, you could only do so much.
This accident is part of a legal battle erupting in Texas between two competitors. At issue is a guardrail system, specifically the N terminal, called the ET+. Invented by Texas A&M, manufactured by Trinity Industries of Dallas, and installed and maintained by local governments. It's a federally accepted safety device you probably see on the highway every day. A&M and Trinity are suing this man for defamation and business disparagement.
They're saying that you claim to be on a crusade to save lives, but actually you're looking for a financial windfall.
No, ma'am. That is incorrect.
What is this about?
It's about saving lives.
They say that you are putting out misleading and false information.
No, ma'am. The pictures, they're just physical pictures. I'm not photoshopping anything. It is not normal for Guardrail to go through a vehicle cutting people in half.
Harmon is not only defending himself in the defamation case, at the same time, he's filed a whistleblower case against Trinity. He admits he's not an engineer or a scientist. He's a Virginia guardrail maker who manufactured a head until Trinity and Texas A&M sued his companies for patent infringement, for copying the ET+ design. As that case unfolded, Harmon says he learned about dimension changes that were made to the Trinity head. The case settled under confidential terms.
To understand how a guardrail N terminal works, it helps to take a look at this crash test video. During a head-on collision, the system is designed to dissipate the energy of the vehicle that impacts the head by extruding the guardrail. So basically, the head slows the vehicle down, then the guardrail goes through the head, it's flattened and deflected away from the vehicle.
In the whistleblower case, Harmon claims the ET+ was modified in 2005. And now hundreds of thousands of defective heads are on our highways. He claims Trinity made the modifications to save manufacturing costs, a claim Trinity denies. His website is full of photos he claims are examples of failing heads. Trinity says Harmon's allegations are based on no scientific analysis and amount to nothing more than junk science. Trinity says the ET+ was crash tested in 2005, and the Highway Administration accepted those results.
But what's happening is when that restriction happens,
Harmon took us out on the highway to show us what he's talking about.
This one is a 4-inch.
He says the feeder channel has been reduced from 5 inches to 4 inches. His suit claims that's critical, and the length was shortened.
If you measure from here to here, it's 37 inches. This is 36.
He says the height was also reduced.
When you measure the original one, it's 15 3/8. When you measure these, they measure from 15 to down to 14 7/8.
Anybody can walk out and put a tape on it and see it's different.
Harmon's whistleblower suit claims any product on our highway system must undergo rigorous testing to validate crashworthiness, and once approved, the design cannot be altered. So did the Federal Highway Administration sign off on those changes? It turns out the feds did not learn about all of the 2005 changes until 2012, 7 years later, according to this videotape deposition.
You had never heard of that change before Mr. Harmon brought it to your attention in 2012. Is that correct?
I believe that's correct.
In this email, the Highway Administration confirms the change from 5 inches to 4 inches was a design detail omitted from the documentation submitted to the agency back in 2005, but says the ET+ with the 4-inch guide channel is eligible for federal reimbursement, which means it can be used on our highways. The Highway Administration says Trinity confirmed that this crash test in May 2005 used the 4-inch guide channels. But Fox 4 has learned Trinity made even more changes after this May 27, 2005 crash test. In this videotape deposition, this Trinity VP is shown a drawing and then questioned about revisions it shows.
Revisions 5 through 10 were done after the May 27 test, weren't they?
Object to the form. According to the drawing, yes.
Are you aware of anything that suggests that those changes were actually included within the prototype that was tested on May 27th?
No.
Same objection.
Brian Smith insists that any revisions Trinity made were all cosmetic.
We're talking about 3/4 of an inch here, an 1/8 of an inch here. These are more manufacturing revisions than changes to the product.
There is no such a thing as a cosmetic change. Cosmetic is makeup on something on the surface. Changing internal dimensions is not cosmetic.
At one point, it appears the Highway Administration was concerned about design changes. In this draft letter to Trinity, it states, even though it appears the terminal can still meet crash testing requirements, anecdotal reports of highway crashes with fatal injuries indicate they may not be performing as intended. It goes on to suggest an in-service performance evaluation. But this letter was never sent. It's a draft. The Highway Administration would only release a statement saying the ET Plus was tested in 2005, met all crash test safety standards, and there have been no complaints over the past 7 years. While the government may not be hearing complaints, the courts are.
The vehicle left the roadway and the guardrail had impaled into the vehicle.
In December 2008, Sabrina Carrier was traveling down a Tennessee highway when she struck a guardrail. It penetrated her passenger compartment. She died.
I had not seen a vehicle impaled upon a guardrail like that.
Carrier's family has filed a wrongful death lawsuit claiming Trinity's ET Plus is unsafe and defective. In court records, Trinity says the end terminal in Carrier's crash had previously been hit, was not repaired, and was not in an accepted condition of installation. Just last month, Trinity filed another slander lawsuit against Harmon in Georgia. Trinity declined an on-camera interview, but in court records, the company says Harmon's claims are false, malicious, and lack engineering support. Harmon says he isn't going away.
You welcome these defamation cases?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not lying, and they know it. All they're trying to do is intimidate me to get me to shut up. Could be my children. It's that simple.
Now, a Trinity spokesman told us the only way to assess the performance of the ET Plus system is to know the speed and weight of the vehicle and the angle of the impact. Without those accident specifics, it's impossible to determine performance. Trinity says the terminal was crash tested again in 2010 and demonstrated successful performance. But Harmon believes that there is enough evidence on our highways to warrant further investigation.